Holy V for Vendetta, Batman! Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And welcome back. We're here, and I am the Batman the Animated Series novice in the room. You know, the guy who's only seen every episode that we've been going through one time. And Dragon, you are the expert. You are the guy who's going to take me through, who's going to guide me through. I'm not doing this right. I'm not doing this well at all, Dragon. Save me. Save me, Dragon. That's what you're here to do, man. So do it.
You see, folks, what my colleague is trying to say is that...
I'm getting really tongue-tied. I don't know why I botched that so much. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Long ago, I made a vow to educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as his spirit guide to Gotham in a way.
And tonight we're talking about episode 23. Not V for Vendetta, just Vendetta. Dragon, I gotta say, it'd be great if they had a V and Batman crossover.
That would be horrifying. Tiki, your headphones are plugged in, right?
Yeah, they're plugged in. Do you need me to turn the volume down at all?
I don't know, something. It sounds like, I can hear it. It just sounds like maybe, no, there's no echo or anything. It just sounds like you'll sound a little spacious in the room or something. I don't know.
I think what it might be, hold on.
How about now?
Hello? Say hello to the folks again. Okay, a little too low on that one.
Hello.
I can hear you, but you're a little low. Okay,
well, why don't you get into the background and everything? We'll start to and I'll try and figure it out.
Okay, you're getting louder, so I think you're on the right path.
I think I'm good, and actually, I need to go over my reaction to this too, right?
Oh, there you go. I think you're good. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Dragon, this was a very fun episode. It's got a lot of good animation in it. I think the animation is kind of a highlight. Not throughout the whole thing, just certain shots. I have a really good description for a shot that you're going to be so proud of me for. I'm really excited about it.
Sort of a proud of your boy moment.
Oh, most definitely. And also just the end of the episode is totally a proud of your boy moment as well. I don't want to bury the lead on that one. The end of the episode is totally just like... Anyways. Dragon, all I can think of in this whole episode boils down to one moment, all right? One moment of Bruce Wayne acting like the biggest science dork in the world. And I love it so much.
You love that moment, huh?
I love it so... That might be one of my favorite moments in the whole show so far, just because of how earnest it is, Dragon.
Everyone rolls their eyes at that moment. You loved it.
No. That's the thing, because you know me, Dragon. I kind of embrace the corniness and thing, and I embrace the imperfections and things, and I just I love it. So that's this episode is totally imperfect, but at the same time, it's totally genuine, and that's what that moment is. So that's my reaction, kind of in a nutshell. Like, really, everything I have to say about this episode boils down to that one Bruce Wayne at the aquarium moment, which I can't wait to break down in vivid detail, Dragon.
All right.
I think I kind of threw you through a loop on that one, didn't I?
Yeah, you did a little, yeah.
Anyways.
All right. So yeah, folks, context of this one, I guess, this episode was directed by Frank Parr. Frank Parr, one of our favorites. He directed the Hulk versus animated films. He also, in relation to Batman, he directed he directed Birds of a Feather, which is a great one we'll get to at some point, about the Penguin, one of the Nostalgia Critics' favorites. And
is that one where Penguin falls in love?
Yes, that's the one where Penguin falls in love, yes. And then nice. Down the line, Frank Parr did another great noir Bullock episode like this one. It's called Bullet for Bullock, and it's a fantastic.
I know you like that one. Yeah, you've been talking about that one.
As some of the, it bridges on being a Christmas episode. Bridges on it. That's the thing. It's unclear like how official that one would be. Regardless,
well, you know what, Dragon? After the Nutcracker thing from Courage this past year, I think I don't know.
I know what I'm saying. The point is the jury's a little out on the ruling on that. The point is Bullet for Bullock also has some of the great best music from Batman the Animated Series in that episode. So the point is just it's really,
nice.
Really good. This episode was written by Michael Reeves, of course, a writer of Mask of the Phantasm, as well as Feet of Clay.
Is this also the guy? No, he's not the same guy who wrote the DuckTales movie, right? That was someone else. That was
Did it say? Well, I didn't see the DuckTales movie. Did it say Michael Reeves? It could have been him, actually.
I mean, I know that the DuckTales movie, there was either a writer or a director. Who was the director of Phantasm?
Well, Reeves is a writer. He doesn't really direct it, so I doubt he would.
Yeah, I know, but I'm asking just to try and get the comparison.
No, he didn't direct Phantasm. No, he didn't direct.
No, but I'm still asking. Just give me the name.
Bruce Timm and Alan Burnett worked on.
Alan Burnett. That's it. Alan Burnett's the guy who worked on both DuckTales and Phantasm. I'm sorry, I just want to get that out there.
For those who may need Alan Burnett, essentially, he's kind of the godfather of Batman animation. That's sort of kind of what Alan Burnett's role has been: the overseer, the executive producer. Very powerful, and also good. He wrote Two-Face. Anyway.
All right.
So also Pretty Poison, and so the point is you can see a theme in Reeves' writing where you have kind of revenge and noir in his writing style, as you can see with like Feet of Clay, very noir, kind of like death of Matt Haig and Birth of Clayface type story, and Pretty Poison, both revenge stories as well. Roland Daggett and Harvey Dent kind of being the revengee stories. The studio, one of the best, probably for my money, honestly. The more we go through these episodes, I'm more sold on this. I think probably the best animation studio the Batman animated series ever had worked on this one. Spectrum. They did Grey Ghost, they did Heart of Ice. Spectrum, they do some of the finest work in Batman. So they did the animation for this.
So I'm not alone in thinking that the animation's pretty damn good.
Oh yes, absolutely. And Spectrum, Tiki. Spectrum was a studio that was so good it went out of business because it strived for the art over striving for the budgetary concerns. That's the thing. They kind of went out of business doing good work.
So kind of like a better version of the Iron Giant situation.
In a way, yes. There's more legacy with Spectrum, I suppose, in terms of like what they kind of walked away with there. Yeah. Let's see. Last couple of things to know. Of course, this was the first Killer Croc episode.
Oh yeah.
And this was the first major Bullock episode since POV. We had main time we had Bullock was he was in On Leather Wings, but he was also he was featured in POV. This is the first kind of Bullock-centric episode. And kind of shows some growth on the Batman-Bullock relationship. So that's kind of the big takeaways from Vendetta. So okay, let's I guess with that said, let's dive right into it then.
Alrighty, yeah. Dragon, also correct me if I'm wrong. This might be the most screen time we've gotten from Gordon so far out of the episodes.
Well, I'm trying to think so far. Yeah,
because that's the way I described this episode in the description. Is it's the most GCPD centered episode that we've talked about so far.
Well, again, POV would technically that's 3 cops telling their stories, so that's probably the most GCPD centered. Technically,
I completely forgot about POV, to be honest.
Well, I mean,
I'll have to go back and change it to just be more general and say, yeah, it's the first Killer Croc episode.
I think you might be right, though. And Gordon is focused. He's in multiple scenes. He's in scenes without Batman.
That's the thing with Gordon in the show so far is that Gordon is kind of like the elusive, oh, there he is, and whenever he says something awesome. He's like a better Boba Fett,
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's not inaccurate. We have he has in more scenes than usually like a one shot with Gordon. That's usually what we have with Gordon. The one shot, or possibly he's at the end of an episode, or it's very sparse with Gordon. But you're right. There, so
okay, haha. So we're finally, I shouldn't say finally, but we're, this is exactly the kind of exercise that we set out to accomplish, Dragon. You see, for me, it's kind of still sinking in just how little screen time Gordon has and still is such an important player in this show. So that's cool. That's cool that we're going through this like that. Anyways. Okay.
So he's learning my love affair with Commissioner Gordon through my experience as a youth with the animated series, but he's now experiencing it for the first time, folks. Okay, Tiki, start us off.
Okay, so we have you're gonna have to kind of explain the minutia of this plot to me a little bit, Dragon, but basically we have someone who's very much terrified on a helicopter. Conway, I believe, is his name, right?
Yes, Spider Conway. It's a dark and rainy night, and he's going on a boat. I forget how the helicopter fits into things. I don't even know if there was a helicopter.
It might not be a helicopter. It might be a boat.
That's the thing, because I'm not remembering. I remember he's on a boat, but anyway. So the point is, it's a dark and rainy night.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's a dark and rainy night in Gotham as Spider Conway. He's a crook who's being he's being transferred from the penitentiary to testify against Rupert Thorne. Of course, you remember Rupert Thorne being in the animated series the man responsible for Two-Face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he essentially we never got Falcone in the animated series, but we had Rupert Thorne essentially as Falcone.
He very much feels like Falcone, and Falcone is in my mind Dragon because I'm playing through the Telltale game, so...
Or Falcone, depending on your preference. Falcone.
I just think Falcone's easier to say, so for podcasting purposes, I'm going with Falcone.
Sure. So Spider Conway, he's supposed to testify against Rupert Thorne. He's getting a reduced sentence. He's getting, according to Gordon, he's getting a honey of a deal. And he's very nervous, however, and Gordon's going to remark, and I don't know what he has to be nervous about, because the little details with Spectrum is what gets me here. Because Gordon, I love this. It's pouring down rain. Gordon, he's sitting in the cop car trying to avoid some rain. He's drinking his coffee, and because it's Gotham, the coffee tastes terrible. So he's like, pour out the coffee. It's the little subtle details, and yeah, he's also trying to keep it warm too. Anyway, so Gordon doesn't get why Conway's spooked. He has he has the deal of the century, 10 years off his sentence. Bullock answers, and that what's really cool retroactively here is that all of Bullock's scenes in the beginning of this episode can be interpreted that Bullock might have might have a sinister motive. Like nothing he says in the beginning can be interpreted one way or another as in no way, shape, or form could Bullock be an angel by any stretch. It's that. Bullock,
it's very much the Bullock that we know and love in that way, Dragon. And of course, you and I, we're seeing Bullock from a completely different lens on Gotham, so it's cool to, have an episode like this that features a lot of this version of Bullock, to kind of compare and contrast the two.
Yeah, because famously, Bullock's always been a guy who's he's soiled, if not corrupt in the beginning, who works his way back. And we saw that in Gotham. He's corrupt working his way back. And in the case of Batman the Animated Series, they never made him straight out corrupt. But we do, in this episode where we finally get to know the guy a little, we're not exactly sure how honest the guy is. I think that's really important and really cool on the rewatch.
I've always kind of had a weird comparison with this version of Bullock that you probably don't agree with and not many people do. But, to me, he's kind of like a more serious version of both these two characters combined. Those two characters being Ralph the Guard from Animaniacs, and I say that mostly from the design point of view, and then J. Jonah Jameson from like from a kind of hot pursuit of the main character point of view.
I don't see that as a bad comparison. I don't know.
Okay.
It sounds like combining them. Yeah.
To Ralph the Guard, people are like, wait, what? I'm like, it's just from the design. He kind of looks like Ralph the Guard.
It's a combination. I can see it. Sure. Yeah.
All right. Anyways,
so we're in the. So basically, in the storm, a shrouded, shadowed arm appears, and again, we're building up the mystique of Killer Croc. You're very much like the title card does, and that's kind of the cool thing in this episode. When you're watching this episode for the first time, it's it's unclear who this mysterious.
Yeah, I very much had that experience, Dragon. Except I kind of found it out a little bit too late, just because watching it for the first time last night, I was very, very tired. So I was like, I had like a Peter Griffin moment where I was sitting there in the last 5 minutes of the episode, like, oh, wait a minute, that's Killer Croc. Yeah. Anyways.
Anyway, so there's a mysterious shadowy arm that appears and plants
funny a bomb. Guy, Tom Hanks. I'm sorry.
Plants a bomb on the side of the ship. And essentially the explosion covers the kidnapping of this mysterious arm, kidnapping Spider Conway as the men jump ship, from the discovered explosion. And we also have an awesome Batman reveal from a distance with the bat binoculars. And again, it's this Batman noticing, oh my God, something bad's just about to happen, but he's unable to do anything to stop it. Like, oh man, it's compelling.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have this great line from Gordon. And we did give Gordon a lot of good one-liners and moments.
Oh, he's got some fantastic lines in this, yeah.
There's a great line, the Bullock here. And it's always funny, and this is the thing they had at various points in the animated series. They even had they established that Gordon and Bullock have a rapport, they have a dynamic, and a lot of the time, especially in the beginning, you would have moments where Bullock would have this. I forget if it's happened already. It might definitely be coming up in a couple episodes if it hasn't happened already, because it's in an episode like this where Bullock says, "Yo, your hair looked funny on TV." Anyway, so Gordon has this great line. Remind me never to think of you as a good luck charm to Bullock. That's funny. I miss Bob Hastings so much. Anyway,
Yeah.
so in the aftermath, there's no sign of Conway. Gordon's ordering, Gordon Bullock saying, "Okay, call forensics. Drag the bay." And again, Bullock flips his toothpick. And again, these are all vaguely sinister moments in the first watch. Man, I can't tell.
And especially, it threw me off too, Dragon, because of the way that you teased it. Like, oh, Bullock's like the episode's called Vendetta, right? So I assume that Bullock had a vendetta against Batman. I assume that that's what the title was referring to.
Quite the opposite.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So then we have this again wonderful animation.
By the end of the episode, Batman might be proud of his boy.
Oh God! I'm sorry, I'm just really you're right. Anyway, so
we'll get there. We'll get there.
So Batman again, it's wonderful bit of spectrum animation here. Batman's running in the rain to the Batboat, the search scene, basically search for Conway, search for evidence, and what he's actually doing, he's going to Stonegate to basically see if assuming someone planted a bomb when they boarded the ship. That's why he's going all the way to Stonegate.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see.
Oh so God. Okay, so I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So again, he gets to Stonegate. He goes to the he goes to the dock and he finds a clue. He finds a toothpick. And wait a minute, we know who else fancies toothpicks and who's involved in this operation. It's Bullock.
And Dragon, maybe the best piece of animation in this whole episode is the lightning being struck against Bullock.
Oh yeah, as we cut to Bullock ranting the gym here.
What do you mean I'm being pulled off the case?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, with Batman picking up the toothpick, we have a couple shots like this in the episode. I love investigating. This is stuff. This is some of my bread and butter for Batman the Animated Series. I love the investigating shots. Like when I think of a classic Batman doing detective work shot, I think of like these little moments where it's Batman up close and he's holding like this little thing in his hand that's like a little piece of evidence in his hand. Like that's a classic Batman investigating shot for me. And then you're right, that transition, Bullock just letting he doesn't want. He's being pulled off the case. Because Gordon is doing this for his benefit, though. He's asking, what the heck here? This is like the last thing this could finally put away Rupert Thorne. I'm sorry, Tiki, do you want to go through the whole?
No, you could probably, reiterate the plot better than I can. But I do want to point out, though, I love how Batman is scaling the side of the building and timing it to the lightning strikes.
Yes. We also have another famous image that you see all over the place in the animated series where when Batman uses the grappling gun, which is, it's a favorite move, and one of the reasons the grappling gun is my favorite Bat gadget. And this iteration of the grappling gun's always been my favorite. You'll notice whenever he pushes the grappling, whenever he fires the grappling gun, there's this little white flash of light. That, again, goes well with the lightning. But it's always this great little animation force. No place like Spectrum did better. So yes.
So Batman's looking up a file on Bullock, right?
Yes, because of what Gordon says in the scene here. Gordon's doing for Bullock's benefit because he mentions, and again, I love the shot like this where Batman's on the outside, listening in. We have a couple shots like this. There's famous Batman shots. Yeah, I like that he's still in the scene with Gordon, even though Gordon doesn't know he's there. And again, Bullock wants to put Thorne away, and I like that. This is like I'm reading between the lines here. I like to think maybe because Bullock kind of got along with Harvey Dent, didn't share a lot of scenes with him, but. Remember, he was there during the whole Two-Face debacle. I like to think part of Bullock is doing this for all the horrible stuff Rupert Thorne's done, such as create Two-Face.
Sure.
It's a little Harvey on Harvey kind of like
a little bit of loose headcanon continuity there, but I like it.
Yeah, throwing it out there. Anyway, so Jim makes mention of this could drudge up ancient history. So again, drudging up ancient history. Batman wants to know, okay, what's the ancient history? He wants to see what the connection is, because again, he suspects Bullock is involved in this somehow. So Bullock's hiding something. I gotta go through Bullock's history here. So, let's see. Oh yes, we have this great painting of Batman. As he's reflected on the window. It's one of those painted stills. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim doesn't want to do it, but he doesn't want to risk IA all over Bullock like a bad rash. Again, he's doing it for his friend.
Another great line, by the way.
Exactly. So Batman, meanwhile, he's searching the GCPD's file cabinet. Classic, that old Art Deco kind of like run the vague. You're in that kind of unspecified 30s environment where you have all these file cabinets in all their glory. And I hope you notice this. As he's going through the files, there's a Psycho reference.
No, is it in Bates?
Yes, N. Bates.
Which
Norman
of course
Bates.
could be either Norma or Norman.
Very true. Very true.
Oh, Dragon, by the way, did you know that Vera Farmiga is in a movie with Liam Neeson this weekend?
Yes, I told you about it in the first place, remember?
Oh, did you? Did you? Okay,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I might go see it just for the Farmiga factor.
Well, and Jonathan Banks is in it.
God damn it, that sells me then. I have to see it now. Damn it. You know, I could be going to see The Post Dragon, but no, I'm going to go see this silly movie with Liam Neeson and Jonathan Banks.
Good.
Anyway. And
Anyway.
Vera Farmiga, which is the main reason I'm actually going to see it, so I'm not going to lump her in with those bozos.
And she's the main antagonist, too, which is very...
goddamn, you keep selling me on it. Stop it. Anyways, getting off topic and dating this podcast.
So Batman, he grabs the file, he grabs Bullock's file, and he disappears again. There's a great kind of classic bat exit as Bullock's about to enter, and you can see him through like a little silhouette. And
I really like that bat exit, by the way.
And he disappears right before, as Bullock enters, Batman's gone. Great. Mm-hmm. Let's see. So Bullock finds. I love the subtlety here, Bullock. Yeah, this thing you don't see. It's such a rare thing you imagine seeing in a children's show. Like details like this where Bullock goes in, the file's missing. Ancient history, eh? Yeah, right. So anyways, Bullock said, okay, he's assuming IA is looking into it, or someone is looking into it. Mm-hmm. All right. Meanwhile, we're at Wayne Manor.
Yes, Alfred finds the file. He's kind of reading it. Let's see. Their main thing is he accepted a bribe from Thorne, right?
He didn't do it. He was suspected of accepting money from Rupert Thorne 2 years ago, and was dropped because lack of evidence. The point is, it was never officially clear. Just there wasn't enough evidence. So Bullock officially wasn't charged with anything, but still, it's like, hey, we never got to the bottom of it. Mm-hmm. That's why Batman's not That's why Batman's not exactly sold on Bullock being innocent so far.
But Batman did find
a toothpick.
And Dragon, this is what I'm talking about. Like this kind of like really, really earnest sort of like, oh, don't worry, Alfred. I found a toothpick. You know, like I know there's just something very earnest and fun about that kind of tone to this episode. I feel like this is a very Silver Age Batman episode.
In a few ways,
Anyways.
Yeah. You have a blend of the 40s and the Silver Age, I guess. Uh-huh. Well, I don't know, more 40s, because even the 40s had this kind of stuff like that. And,
fair enough.
Find this one connecting element.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I mean, come on, it is Bullock's signature, and you got to imagine all those cops there. It looks good to be Bullock's toothpick. I don't think it's. Some people say we need like a little, hey, we found Bullock's DNA on it. Yeah, it would have helped. I mean, come on,
I don't care.
No.
We don't care.
Yeah. So anyway, so we see. So the point is, they're going down the Batcave stairs. Always nice to see those. Mm-hmm. And we see, which kind of come into play more in Batman Beyond that I think about it. Batcave stairs. Anyway. Point is, he sees Bullock's motive with Conway, because Conway, he had ties to Thorne, and of course, if he didn't want things found out about Thorne, he would do away with Conway.
All right, Dragon, let me take us through the next scene, because this is where my description that I'm very proud of is.
All right, what do you got?
All right, so Conway wakes up in a panic in a set of caves, and then he sees a creature, but we don't see it. We don't see it at first, but he's very panicked. He says, no, not you. It can't be. And then, Dragon, we get a very Scooby-Doo movie-esque reaction from Conway to tease Croc. Yeah, Scooby-Doo movie-esque reaction.
Well, I mean, I see what you're talking about. I thought you were like, you're going to, zoinks?
Well, no, I mean, like, okay, goddamn, I'm going to have to explain it. It wasn't as off the page as I thought it would be. Okay, so mostly I'm talking about something like the, like the main 3 Scooby-Doo movies, like mostly Zombies Island and Witch's Ghost, where they'd have like the really dramatic trailers and we'd focus in on the characters just screaming, I don't know.
I definitely see it. It does look very Scooby-Doo-esque in the animation. I got to tell you, T, now I'm thinking of that. I got to look into this.
It could be the same animation studio
that did
Zombie Island.
That's what I'm saying. Spectrum may have worked.
Yeah, look into that.
If it wasn't Spectrum, it could have been I mean, it looks very Spectrum-esque. It could be Spectrum or TMS. They probably did the animation on it, but I got to look into that. Anyway.
Okay, well, I don't think Scooby-Doo movie-esque is going to be a catchphrase anytime soon, but I gave it my best shot.
Sorry about that. So when the trailer pulls a little obscure, it's
Yeah. No, it's all good. You don't have to apologize. I'm sorry for hyping it up so
But I'll
much.
tell you this, and tell you this thing I called in the rewatch. It was amazed me. I'm so impressed with the episode 4. They really thought of everything with this. Is that you'll notice that Conway, when he woke up, he had a rebreather. So I mean, Killer, Croc, he put these rebreathers on him, and he wakes up and he takes the thing off his face because how else is going to get him down? He'll die if he swims him down there while he's unconscious. I love those little such a little clever detail.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't catch that. Nice.
Oh, by the way, Kevin Nolan, the comics artist, he did the design on for a few of the characters, basically the monster characters on Batman the Animated Series. He designed Man-Bat and he designed Killer Croc. And the main thing you wanted to strive for Killer Croc is going for like a silhouette feature, like you can see in the image before you, folks. He's got these bumps and everything, and they didn't want to do like an uber. They wanted to do something different than just kind of a lizard knockoff, like the lizard from Spider-Man. That's
what he kind of reminds me of? He kind of reminds me of Gollum from Lord of the Rings. I know you're not a fantasy guy, but kind of generally with the gray skin and everything.
I kind of see that, and that was the tricky thing. I gotta applaud him for. I always liked this more than the redesign did of Croc here, because before we get the Arkham games years later, I mean, I really liked this. I really did enjoy this Killer Croc, because it looked like a man who looked like a crocodile instead of like being being reptilian, because usually Croc, he's literally like a crocodile with pants. It's usually what they do with him. In this case, he just has these bumps and he's got the strength and he's got kind of like the jawbones. He looks like someone mutated in like kind of with a birth defect of a crocodile almost. Looks cool. Anyway, again, we can still kind of build that up in the shadow without even knowing it's Killer Croc yet. So it's really neat. Anyway, so yes, booga booga moment with Conway there. Meanwhile, here we go, big Godfather touch in this. These are the Godfather things I'm talking about, Tiki, right here, especially Rupert Thorne. Rupert Thorne's in his greenhouse doing some botany.
I love the mundanity of that dragon. Like even mobsters have to have hobbies, right?
It's a cute hobby too, because hey, his name's Thorne. He's got kind of a gardening green thumb.
Exactly. I noticed that pun too.
Again, very much kind of like Vito Corleone and the orange field, where he's got in doing that, we have Thorne. He's just kind of doing a little gardening on a rooftop, and he's pruning, and we basically have a shattered glass, like a window has like a broken pane of glass, which gets his attention. That's the Godfather touch right there. It's always that one mysterious thing that goes wrong before all the bad stuff happens, and I love it. I love those Godfather touches so much. Then Batman appears, and Kevin Conroy, he's doing such a great job in this scene. Also, just the animation on him is great. We have Batman has a grand entrance with the lightning. Oh, all that Spectrum love. Oh my God! And he has a great interrogation scene of Rupert Thorne. He wants answers. He's asking for answers. He's grabbing Thorne by the lapels, and Thorne stalls. He's like, "Oh, answers like what?" And the great John Vernon doing the voice of Rupert Thorne.
I got plenty of answers. 38 caliber answers.
That's great. And of course, he's stalling for his men to appear with the 38 caliber answers. And then, of course, this is great. And this is
we get a bat smile, Dragon. We get a bat smile.
We do, and it's an imposing bat smile. It's kind of Miller-esque, honestly. It
is very Miller-esque. I can see that. Yeah.
There's a lot of Alan Grant in this in this Batman. So kind of have like this in basically the way it looks more so, but you also have like these interrogation scenes feel kind of Alan Grant-esque with the Batman. So he turns Rupert Thorne around, saying, "Hey, this is beautiful." And the way Kevin Conroy delivers, he has some intimidating deliveries like this, where he says, "I was saying, you better hope your men are very good shots." Oh my God, yes. Oh, those are the moments I live for as a Batman. Because again, he's not going to hurt him, but at the same time, hey, you're a man. I wouldn't have him shoot if I were you. And it gets more creepy and intimidating here. It says, "Say, it's getting a little too hot in here. Let's get some air." And we have this awesome, as he kind of he walks out the greenhouse into like the raining rooftop, and he basically does this awesome leap off the edge, holding Thorne, and he grapples away. And basically, what he's doing is he's swinging him in. He basically he has him on the line. What he does is he hooks. It's called and again I have all these gadgets catalog, so it's
I'm sure you do. Yeah,
I know what a lot of these are. So this is a carabine. It's like a mountain climbing thing, a carabine or carbine. And he attaches that to some bat ropes. So basically, Thorn is hanging around, and he's terrified. He's you got nothing to say. Okay, drops him a little bit. So he's hanging around. Basically, Thorn doesn't know anything. He says, "I wouldn't wipe." He has a great kind of gangster. He has these great gangster lines. He asks about Conway. Oh, Conway, he didn't have anything on me. I wouldn't wipe my shoes on him. That's the thing John Byrne was so good at, is Rupert Thorne. He always had these great. He always had a sophistication about him, but at the same time, was like a 40s mob boss. And in doing so, he could get away with these, with these lines like that. Where it's just, oh, I wouldn't, He just sounds like he's a guy who worked his way from the streets to a position of power. He just got comfy. That's what he always sounds like. So he leaves him hanging for his men to, for his men to get him down. Anyway, so. Getting back to the GCPD, we're on the beach, right where Conway's boat disappeared. Montoya still has no luck. Montoya in rain slicker attire.
God.
One of these days they're going to make an action figure of that, I'm sure.
Great Gordon line coming up as Batman appears, makes a bat entrance. I've had cats that made more noise than you.
Oh yeah, that's great. Let's see. They have there's a great scene between them here. We have a great walk on the beach with Batman and Gordon.
I like long walks on the beach, Jim.
God, rarely do you get like a walk on the beach. I just wanted to point that out. I kind of forgot that this seems like a walk on the. I remember it was like a blow up here, but I keep forgetting it was like a walk. Start off as a walk on the beach.
God.
So when Batman's confronting Jim with
I especially like the beach at sunset. Anyways,
they got this sand that gets everywhere.
God.
Anyway,
I imagine sand would be very impractical for a bat suit, though. Anyways, go ahead.
So let's see. So he points out that the evidence suggests that Bullock had a hand. He had basically he had a reason to go after Conway. He had Bullock. Bullock might be involved, and Jim admits that. Look, Bullock's hard to work with, and definitely hard to like too. But he's a good cop and he's clean. And basically, vouches for Bullock in this scene. And Montoya reports in still nothing. They're assuming the worst, that Conway, he's gone. They're assuming that they're looking for a body. If anything, then we have the bat exit, and this bit always haunted me from this episode in the best way.
Oh God, Dragon! As soon as I saw it, I'm sure I was like, oh, that must be a big Dragon moment right there.
Like, not counting moments from New Adventures of Batman. If I were catalog the best Gordon Batman moments from the animated series, this is definitely in the top 5. This bit here,
I don't blame you.
Gordon says, as Batman has disappeared, and of course he's getting used to it. But as Batman disappears, he has that lingering line. And again, Bob Hastings, no one delivers this like Bob Hastings. Even as much as I love Cranston, I don't even think Cranston could bring it for this.
Oh, man, that's saying something, folks.
I'm just saying, believe me, Cranston has kind of become again, my other go-to for Gordon when I read a comic these days.
Well, Cranston is basically kind of your Ben Affleck for Kevin Smith era, early 2000s, right? Like,
very true.
He could play the shark from Jaws.
Yes. Oh yeah, I'd go to bat for Cranston any day of the week. So I says, for once, my friend, I hope your instincts are wrong.
Oh man,
and like Gordon, who always kind of relies on Batman being right. For once, he's hoping he's going to be wrong. Because again, he hopes that Bullock's not dirty. He hopes that Bullock's not corrupt. Because again, he puts trust in Bullock. He's seen Bullock, work his way up. Oh boy, it's a fantastic little stinger at the end of that scene.
All right. So now, Dragon, this next episode is, this next scene is a little ridiculous, wouldn't you say?
Well, I don't know. It's still the beginning of the scene.
To me, it kind of reminded me of how people, like Ninja Turtles, like Raphael's trench coat outfit.
True, but it is with strategy, though. Well, one Batman's digging through wreckage and he finds a scale. It's going to be important for later. So they're at the GCPD. The soaking wet thing does that's what makes it a little silly. But the premise itself is cool. We have this ominous Bullock dribbling, because we always have a feeling at this point it's not Bullock, but regardless, it's the fact we don't know who. We know it's the guy we know Bullock's being framed at this point, but at the same time it's like you don't get a clear view at him, which is kind of creepy.
Oh.
And the fact that Croc, he's huge and he's kind of big like this design of Bullock is, so it's like a super intimidating Bullock though. He's dripping wet and I want to see Joey a snail, and he is doing it's gruff, but he is doing a very good Bob Hastings impression. I'm sorry, Bobby. Robert. Oh God, Costanzo. Bob. Robert Costanzo, also known as Bobby Costanzo. That's what I'm getting mixed up there. Sorry. Yes, that was a good Costanzo impression.
Yeah. Rise and shine, Joey.
Of course, Joey's looking very terrified as the voice change. Again, we have the voice changer. I'm pretty sure that's Aaron Kincaid, the voice of Croc, doing a Robert Costanzo impression. I'm convinced of it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Anyway.
Who's there? Your worst nightmare.
No. Very horrified. Meanwhile, we're at the Mercury Diner, and this is the bit that confirms, okay, Bullock is not our guy here. He's at a diner with Montoya, and again, we established that Bullock and Montoya are their partners, and their lunch.
Oh God.
That was very important with Bullock, is interrupted by Bullock's arrest. And we have a good transition of Bullock, being confronted by the press, and as he's being arrested, cut to the headline. Good transition to the Batcave. Batman looking at the headline of the Batcave, and Batman's not buying this because he's looking under the microscope.
Oh God, Dragon! I just want to break down everything about this next minute. All right, just everything.
All right, take it away.
So he's examining I assume it's like a scale or something off a Croc.
Yeah, it's a scale. Yeah.
Oh God, and I love how Alfred comes in and Dragon just see the gesture. You just he shoos Alfred away. He's like, he doesn't even bother to say. So he's just like, no, Alfred, shoo. Yeah. And then let's see. He's just taking out the texture of it is almost reptilian. Oh God, Dragon! Here we go.
This means, of course, Bullock is no longer the prime suspect than Alfred. Alfred puts it, and I love that he specifies. We know exactly what this meal consists of. It's French. It's Batman's favorite French onion soup.
And he put it, Dragon. What he put it in?
It's in a crock, sir, so you can microwave.
A microwavable crock.
Yep, and then this gives Batman an idea, which leads to this wonderful Kevin Conroy delivery, but even better, the Ephraim Zimbalist Union delivery that follows. But Batman says to him so earnestly,
"Alfred, you're beautiful."
And this shocked. These are the classic Alfred bits here, and I can't get off where Alfred has this shocked. This is the sheepishly shocked response where he's just. Imagine if it breaks the fourth wall here, and does it make it? I don't care. It's hilarious. Where he says, "Imagine if I told him about the salad."
I mean, to me, that's a very Amblin animation style moment, which is why I don't care because it fits with the general Amblin tone.
Yeah, it's Alfred remarking to himself alone. It's fine. Yeah. It's great.
Okay, and then Dragon, I don't know. I'm sure people think this is ridiculous only because it is ridiculous, but I love it anyways.
We go to Ocean World.
Yes, and Dragon, look, you and I, we both love the Hey Arnold aquarium episode, so I'm partial to aquariums. I like them as a setting. But I just love the idea that Bruce Wayne had to get all dressed up, go drive across town. He could just look this up on his computer, right? He had to go across town and literally go on a field trip to the aquarium.
To be fair, the field trip just happens to be there, right? He didn't go he didn't go.
Well, yes, but
yeah.
And then, he's at the aquarium, he's seeing, he's learning about the crocodiles, underwater caves, of course. Oh, God. And Dragon, like I said, it's ridiculous. I know it's ridiculous, but you know me, I'm a connoisseur of the silly and ridiculous. So.
I can't confirm this to you, but I want to say that was mandated. I want to say it was mandated that we... I'm serious that we had to kind of have it's kind of it's not as on the nose as we used to have with the PSAs, with the those Sean, Catherine, Derek episodes. Remember those?
Oh yeah.
it's not as on the nose as those, but at the same time, it feels like a network note of like, can he find out? Like, can he go to? Basically, what they're doing is they're mandating it to be so that it's not the like maybe not PSA, but what they're doing is they're mandating it so it's clear to the young audience. Like, okay, crocodile there, crocodile bad guy.
Right.
That's the so that wasn't like a story. That was most like a network note, I guess. It's more like, hey guys, you need to make it more visually apparent. Okay, I wonder if they just
but like I said, Dragon, I just love the idea of Bruce Wayne getting all dressed up in his Sunday best and going out to the aquarium. It's so charming to me.
I gotta wonder though if that's them just kind of making it a little fun and earnest in response to like having to do it. Like, you know,
right.
And if we have
underwater caves, of course.
Just like they're in the booth, like Andre Armando's like, okay, Kevin, just bask in the earnestness, okay? Just basking. Are you sure, Andre? Yeah, just like your boy at the zoo. Just go nuts.
All right.
Anyway, all right. So then the Batboat dives, which is cool. We have this great bit. You rarely see these bits, Tiki, where the Batboat it depressurizes. You know, like the water fills in, then it kind of goes out as he is shot out of the Batboat.
Mm-hmm.
Batman finds Conway and Joey the Snail. And basically, he starts the freedom for the escape, but they help us escape before he comes back.
And course, and then Croc rears his ugly head.
And this is the big Crocker. This is the first time we see him all. The big reveal. Oh my God, he's a human crocodile.
A freak job like you ought to be in jail.
Yeah, and again, I do appreciate the challenge of like a non-lizard knockoff of this because again, I think I'll say this much: Croc never looked this good in the anime. This is the first episode. Croc's in 3 episodes of the original animated series before they redo the look, and of these three appearances, 4 if you want to be really technical with the trial episode, but he's more of a cameo in there. The point is. The point is like this is like an all Croc episode where they strive with that spectrum animation. He looks at absolute finest. They apply the design theory where he's huge, and what they're kind of going with in the design a little bit is like he's kind of like it's like he looks monstrous as Batman is a guy pretending to be a monster, and Croc is a guy who shares the appearance of a monster. They're kind of going for a vague visual parallel in the face. You'll notice he has kind of like the big giant holes in his face from the Croc-like snout that's all in. Basically, this design work I wish was built into that Amazing Spider-Man movie where they had the lizard. We got rid of the snout.
There's so many design things wrong with that lizard. Don't even get me started.
You see what I mean? Though? This is a point. This is a really good design. That's what I'm getting at here. Anyway, so yes.
If the lizard would have been more like this, then yeah, I could have. Yeah.
This is a way of like doing a Croc in an unconventional way. So this is freaking a cape, just what I need. So it's being a reptile. He's so verbose about being a reptile, man. He's like, being a reptile, man, has its. Everyone loves to make fun of the way Killer Croc talks. But I always want to point that out. Reptile man has its downsides, but having the strength of a Croc is an upside. He holds back, and again, we get really brutal with what Croc does to Batman here. And again, this is the first time in the animated series where Batman's going up against someone who physically can outdo him. Croc's holding his head underwater. He's again drowning someone on a kid's television show, and that's the commercial break.
But we get a cool kind of exposition in the middle of the fight scene with his backstory. Like, they used to call me Killer Croc, the meanest dude in the Wrestling Federation.
Yeah.
Now they. Oh wait, I'm sorry.
No, you're right. Yeah,
I'm right. Okay,
yeah, you're right. Keep going.
Okay. Now they just call me the guy who. Now they're gonna call me the guy who iced Batman.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got a little self-conscious there for a second.
No, you're on. Right on track. Anyway, so then Batman kicks Croc. This is Leap that kicks Croc, and Batman has this great response. It feels like it's a great little Batman line. And again, I love this where you have a Batman who can kind of he's not quippy like Spider-Man, but he does have these smart remarks he can deliver during battle like this, where he says, "Don't hold your breath." It's like he's always in his own perpetual action movie with like the good
one. Which I think is kind of like a part of the world's greatest detective thing, where it's like he's so smart that he just has like a Rolodex of smart comebacks.
Exactly. It's like an old detective thing where Humphrey Bogart, he would have like these smart remarks here and there.
Sure.
Anyway, so then we have this great anime. Tell me what you thought of the animation on Croc's run.
Yeah, it's fine. It's good.
Remember, he does like that weird thing with the hand where he walks on all fours and he kind of like leaves. Yeah, it's really solid animation. The men try to get away. Batman follows them, and he ropes them up on the way out as they're trying to like, get away from. He wants to, hey guys, you don't get off that easy though. I get you're scared, but he ties them up on the way out. Let's see. Batman searches. Basically, he saved the witnesses while he got away from Croc. So Croc's still in the loose. Again, Batman kind of escaped by the skin of his teeth on that one. Let's see.
So let's see. We go back to the Bat computer
using Bat microfiche.
Yes, you've been rooted to that spot for over an hour, sir. And that's what I tell myself every time I play the Telltale Batman game, Dragon.
Speaking of the Telltale Batman game, speaking of like a character in the Telltale Batman game, Harvey, we have the article. We reuse articles whenever we go to the Bat computer, so you can keep track of them. So you will see in this one the article from Pretty Poison, where Poison Ivy, she saved that clipping of Bruce Wayne and Harvey Dent, dig ground on Stonegate Penitentiary.
By the way, I love how physically built Harvey Dent is in the Telltale game.
Oh yeah,
he's huge. Anyways, I'm sorry, Dragon. I'm sorry.
I'm saying, like, you can kind of track, like, in episodes going forward, you'll see that Killer Croc image too. So I mean, you're gonna keep seeing a few of these familiar newspaper clippings. Good continuity there. Anyway, so he finds the Killer Croc article from Miami 4 years ago. Basically, Batman learns he doesn't do detective work, and he finds out what the deal with Killer Croc is. So we learn, and this detail comes back. You're gonna see this in a Killer Croc episode down the line. We learn that Killer Croc's backstory is that he started as a carnival sideshow attraction. That's going to be important.
I really like this backstory, by the way.
You're going to see something interesting done with that backstory down the line.
Cool.
He started off as a carnival sideshow attraction that then turned wrestler. He moved to Gotham, and he was committing petty crimes, which is why he wasn't really on the radar.
Yeah, that's some really good stuff.
Yeah, and he had testimony from Conway and Joey the Snail put him away, thanks to Bullock. Bullock kind of put a case against him, which is why the Vendetta was composed there. It's
payback time.
Yeah, and by the way, this is the smartest you have Croc being in the animated series. By the way, him with this grandiose Vendetta scheme. It's awesome.
Sure.
Let's see. So
Croc won't return to his lair because he knows that Batman knows where it is, so they have to draw him out.
Yes, I need him to come to me.
Mm-hmm.
And now Bullock's going to be... Basically, they have enough that Bullock can be exonerated now that Batman saved the witnesses, and they can testify, no, it wasn't Bullock, it was a monster guy. So yes, that leaves all but Croc. So we have the big end sequence here. And oh my God, Spectrum did an outstanding job with all this stuff coming up here.
Oh yeah.
So Bullock leaves the GCPD, gets in his car, and this is like an old 40s detective thing here. We have like someone.
It really is. It really is, isn't it?
I think I relish in these moments here where he's joined by Croc in his car and the surprise on Bullock. And again, Bobby Costanzo, he's always such a wonderful player. He does a lot of voice work. He's been in movies. He was the traffic cop in Die Hard 2. It's a lot of people know him from, but he's just excellent. Excellent voice. He is Bullock, and they actually pulled him in. Remember the Arkham Origins game? He was Bullock. He reprised his role as Bullock in that.
Nice.
Well, fun fact. Anyway, so let's see. So again, he's Croc's in the scene. He's very surprised by Croc. Ow! Guards don't think to look for you in the sewers. The guards don't in prison don't think about the sewers. And
Makes sense. I can buy it.
Yeah, he's forcing Bullock to drive as he's like, giving his reasoning away. He's basically a big intimidating scene here.
I wanted you to sweat it out in a cell for a while, like I did, to know what it feels like I do.
I love the confined space, and I love how that shows in the animation, such a confined space with this huge Croc-like guy. And also, I love this as he's he's mounting his revenge. This is like old school tension here. I love this. He's slowly reaching his hand across, implying that he's about to kill Bullock in this scene. And out from the back, Batman's arm, he grabs his arm. Oh god, it's chaos in the car, which leads to chaos in the
street. It would have gone down smoothly if it hadn't been for you meddling kids.
And they slam right into a pole. Boom! Croc runs for the sewer, and again, he does that run cycle again, which looks great. He runs to the sewer. He grabs the man. I love this bit of animation. Tiki. He grabs the manhole cover, and he tosses it like a frisbee, like a cap shield almost. And he tosses it right at Batman. And here's the bit I love. Batman, he quickly dives back in the car, closes the door, and so it absorbs the impact of the blow. It's awesome.
Nice.
There's this really subtle bit where Batman, he checks Bullock's pulse to make sure he's alive. Those little bits, too, they go a long way. Then he descends into the sewer. It's a great shot.
This ain't no bat cave.
Oh, yeah, they're in echoey space. They're definitely in Croc's territory. Croc is boasting about with the echo. One, he can't instantly find him. And yeah, Batman is out of his element. I think it's a great climax. It's a wonderful climax for the whole episode. Of, oh, yeah, well... Yeah, he is. Batman is out of his element here, and he's in. Croc's been boasting about, hey, basically it's like you're in the water with Jaws. Now you got to face the consequences.
Right.
And also, he's kind of gloating while he can with the echoes. He's saying, Batman's trying to lure him out by kind of getting him to gloat about his plan here. The toothpick and the impersonation, that was all you. Yeah, it would have worked if you hadn't butted in. But hey, I'm adaptable, looking like me, you gotta go with the flow. And as he says go with the flow, he turns a valve and like a giant water pipe like slams right in the Batman. Right, so then there ain't no Batcave one. Then Batman flips down. I love this. The minute he says this ain't no Batcave, you're on my turf now, Batman smartly, and this is the great thing about this Batman, he flips down the infrared. I think it's infrared.
Oh, yeah.
The infrared or night vision.
And I love the design, Dragon. I love the design of the red goggles on Batman.
Well, yeah, he flips down the infrared lenses, and he starts, he throws a flashbang, because knowing that Croc, and this is smart, and I'd like to think that he also learned this on his little field trip, that Crocs, dwelling in caves, are going to have light-sensitive eyes.
Right.
So he throws a flashbang.
A little side note there.
Yeah, he throws a flashbang grenade disc. And there's a flashbang grenade disc, and it blinds Croc for a moment, and he puts Croc in a headlock. Unfortunately, Croc, being a master wrestler here, he just uses his weight to bash Batman right against the wall. Ooh! We get this sweet running kick that Batman delivers.
There it is. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Croc dives in the... Let's see. So, Croc... Oh, yeah, Croc hides in the water for a surprise attack. Batman, essentially, while he's in this hold here, so Croc's holding him underwater, kind of trying to drown him, which is, again, that's Croc, being the danger of being in Croc's element. That's cool. Batman, he uses the grappling gun. What he does here is, he wraps it around in this position. You see that little wire around Croc's arm right there. He wraps it around Croc's arm, and he grapples him using the grappling gun. Grapples him to... It's like a brick wall structure in the sewer. And as Croc struggles, again, using his strength here instead of his wit, the whole place, collapses on top of him. And, it creates like this big, divide between them here. And again,
it's very Spider-Man 3-esque.
Yeah, you're right.
And I don't say that in a derogatory way.
Yeah. And again, so Croc takes down that brick wall, and I like this for a moment where we don't know exactly what's happening here. I like the mystery of so it comes down, we don't see Croc, we don't know. One, Batman looks. Is Batman going to go back for Croc? Is he going to look for him?
Oh, come on! Don't give me that, Dragon. Don't give me that.
No. I know. Believe me, I know he's going to do it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, watching it for the first time, I even took my notes. I was like, even before it happened, just to save time, I was like, and Batman pulls himself and Croc to safety.
No, what I'm saying is, it's that he's separated there, and it's like you don't know if Croc survived that. I'm not saying Batman's not going to go back for him.
Right.
Did Croc survive, or is Croc going to?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be facetious.
That's what I'm getting. It's like the whole, especially the first time you're watching. I would imagine it's like, oh boy, well, what's going to happen? Who's going to come out of there victorious? If you're a kid watching it back in the '90s. So we have this great bit here. So Bullock, he has his gun drawn down, and this symbolizes the J. Jonah Jameson-esque distrust he has with Batman here.
Sure.
Gun pulled on Batman, because again, he doesn't trust that bad guy. As Batman emerges from the sewer, and it's very adversarial. And then we reveal that, the knocked out, the unconscious killer Croc, which again, Batman hadn't been really strong to lift that guy up with one arm. Again, that little squint that Batman has on the eyes of he's glaring.
Right. Like you said, the little details.
Oh, yeah. And it's revealed, Batman saved him. And again, Tiki, that's an element I've always loved about Batman. He always saves everyone, even the bad guy. Classic Batman.
Of course.
So, Bullock here, and again, there's a big moment of growth for Bullock and Batman. Bullock's asking, why'd you stick your neck out for him? Why'd you stick your neck out for me?
I thought you were guilty and I was wrong. We have different ways of upholding the law, but we both believe in it.
Yeah, it's great. And then there's this bit here where, again, Bullock, the guy's always hardest on Batman's case here, where he says, okay, go on, I'll take it from here. Then, of course, we have a bat exit as he looks up, and it's wonderful. Again, he's slowly winning Bullock over.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so meanwhile, we have Bullock giving a press conference saying, I want all the scumbags and jetbags in this town to lay low because Bullock's back and ready to kick butt.
And we see Batman's watching this in the Batcave.
And then, Dragon, I just want you to know, I want you to know how this is phrased in my notes, all right? I have Batman watches with pride, ... he's ... go.
Proud of his boy. My God, he's proud of his boy.
But
more
seriously.
accurately, he's proud of his Bullock.
But seriously, this is, I would say this is like a top 10 contender for proud of your boy moment so far.
He is so proud of Bullock. There he is. He was a good cop. If it's not proud of your boy, it's like, attaboy, Clarence. Right, that's like a Frank Capra, like, attaboy, Clarence, attaboy, Bullock.
Alrighty, so final thoughts, Dragon.
Final thoughts for me. It's a great noir mystery. It's the best Killer Croc episode. The animation is great. No, not a surprise coming from Spectrum. It's I love the strong development between Batman and Bullock. Yet it's in a subtle way. Like we don't really get that really said until the end. But I love that it's like it's a Batman and Bullock story, but it's not in your face that it's a Batman Bullock story. It just seems like Batman's looking in the Bullock. It doesn't really seem like there's a lot of story between those guys going on, but it is going on under the surface. And I think I love that you can see it without it being like in your face. There's a lot to respect about this episode. Good episode.
Yeah, Dragon, I gotta say, I'm not quite as strong on it as you are. This might be, don't get me wrong, it's a good one. It's a good one. I'm just, like, out of the ones that we've talked about so far, it's not in my top 10 or anything. The animation, I think, is the high point. There's a lot of corny, like, earnest moments that I really like. Croc in himself, I don't necessarily think is ever going to be the most interesting villain, and I think maybe that's just the thing, is that I'd rather spend time with someone like a Joker or Two-Face, and so maybe I'm just talking like a total, like, casual fan of the show in that way, but
Man, Croc doesn't really have that many episodes. It's not really...
Sure. I'd just say there's not a ton of dimension to him, you know what I mean? He's just like the big, muscly, scaly guy. But like you said, it is a very good Bullock episode by, at any rate. It's definitely, the Bullock stuff is a big payoff. So, all right, Dragon, go into your Dozier mode. Do your thing.
Little Bill Dozier here. Okay. Little promo for the next episode done by yours truly, Bill Dozier. Athletes in peril? Gambling on the rise? Now that's scary, or maybe Scarecrow? Will Batman be able to foil the Master of Fear with his ward crippled by panic? Can Robin overcome the fear of victory? Find out. Same animated bat time, same animated bat place.
On the next visit to the animated Batcave with Fear of Victory. Underwater caves, of course.